In this tutorial, we will talk briefly about the modeling of wings. There are a number of different ways that you can go about doing that. They are so thin in density that you could model those with just a 2D plane and shape that up, or you could model it with two faces and give it a little bit more depth. Also, there is a understructure to the wing that's important. Those of you who eat chicken, I'm sure that you have seen a wing without its feathers. So the understructure is there. It's a different shape for different types of birds. Condor, you can see for the most part the shape of the wing. And then it's just these different types of feathers layered over that. So I think for this tutorial, I will go ahead and model this wing with a double-sided face to preserve poly count. For digital video or rendering purposes, I would probably suggest to give this feather a little bit more depth so that you could work in a special mapping that would better be portrayed with a little bit more depth available to the surface, such as subsurface scattering. There's a lot of luminosity in feathers, and you could probably better achieve that with a little bit more density. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do, and I found this on Google. It was the best representation that I could find of the wing. I prefer photography, as you know, but this one shows the shape of the wings fairly well, and it also shows some of the curvature because it is illustrated well with the highlights and shadows, so you can see that a little bit better. And so we'll proceed with this map. And the first thing I'm going to do is create the understructure. So I'll go right up here to the Create panel and just get myself a simple box, top-down view. I'm going to just put myself a box in there to start. Front, F on my keyboard. I'm going to bring that up and let's see, I'm going to show my edge faces so I know what I have going on. I'm going to give myself a few edges to start with. Not too many, I can always put more in. I'll stay with 3. Alright, and from that point we're going to just shape up a little bit of the understructure of the wing. So I'm going to convert that to editable poly, and I'll open that up to expose the sub-objects and come in here and begin to shape that. Going up here to my subtools, check my auto ring on my Flow Connect. Give myself a surface for that. Not liking how this is. I usually prefer to, if I'm box modeling something, I usually prefer to keep it square, parallel to the ground while I'm working. let's go ahead and do that for the sake of time. Alright. There's a few more here. So as you can see, just going to pull that into shape a little bit. Keep the base fairly wide because this is not a normal situation. This model, these wings are going on a human being, so they're going to need to be nice and broad at the base to be able to support a human being, or the figure of a human being. So I'll leave those. Alright, so I have more reference here, of course, that I'm going with. Having multiple references is a good thing. This is not a condor wing, but it can show me the underlying structure, the mechanics of the wing. It's always good to have the skeletal representation as well as the surface anatomy. So you can see that just as our arm, human arm, has one upper arm bone and two forearm bones, the wing of a bird also has that. And then you get down into the smaller appendages that almost look like fingers. So we will go with that basic structure and continue to work. So when we have something that's fairly representational of what we want to accomplish as far as the base structure, I might give that a little bit of shape going this way too. I'm going to remember that I'm going to keep it fairly straight for my rigger. It's a lot easier to rig when it's straight as opposed to when it's already been posed. We don't want to pose our figures as we're modeling them. We want to wait until they're rigged, and then we can pose them with our bones. So actually, might be a little. Alright, that's the working a little bit for me now. Alright, so let's go ahead and go with that for the time being. Front 4, and then I'm going to select my object and rotate that into position. And continue to shape that up. And we're going to keep this akin to body. Flatten that out a little bit more so we have something easy to work with when we're attaching it to our figure. Alright, let's go with that and begin modeling the feathers.